नमस्कार श्रोताओं, आरएसवीआई के इस सेगमेंट में आपका हार्दिक स्वागत है। तो आज हम इस सेगमेंट के माध्यम से इंडिया और नेपाल रिलेशंस के बारे में जानेंगे। इंडिया नेपाल रिलेशंस। हिस्टोरिकल टाइज। फर्स्ट, Nepal is an important neighbor of India and occupies a special significance in its foreign policy because of the geographic, historical, cultural, and economic linkages or ties that span centuries. Second, India and Nepal share similar ties in terms of Hinduism and Buddhism, with Buddha's birthplace Lumbini located in present-day Nepal. Third, the two countries not only share an open border and unhindered movement of people, but they also have close bonds through marriages and family ties, popularly known as Roti Beti Ka Rishta. Fourth, the India-Nepal Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1950 forms the bedrock of the special relations that exist between India and Nepal. Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1950. First, the treaty talks about the reciprocal treatment of Indian and Nepali citizens in the two countries in residence, property, business, and movement. Second, it also establishes national treatment for both Indian and Nepalese business. That is, once imported, foreign goods would be treated no differently than domestic goods. Third, it also gives Nepal access to weaponry from India. Trade and economy. First, India is Nepal's largest trade partner and the largest source of foreign investments, besides providing transit for almost the entire third country trade of Nepal. Total bilateral trade in 2018-19 reached Indian rupees 57,858 crores, which is US dollars 8.27 billion. Second, in 2018-19, while Nepal's exports to India stood at Indian rupees 3,558 crores, which is US dollar 508 million, India's exports to Nepal were Indian rupees 54,300 crore, which is US dollars 7.76 billion. Third, Indian firms engaged in manufacturing services like banking, insurance, dry port, power sector and tourism industries, etc. Connectivity. First, Nepal, being a landlocked country, is surrounded by India from three sides, and one side is open towards Tibet, which has very limited vehicular access. Second, India-Nepal has undertaken various connectivity programs to enhance people-to-people linkages and promote economic growth and development. Third, MOUs have been signed between both governments for laying an electric rail track linking Kathmandu with Raxaul in India. Fourth, India is looking to develop the inland waterways for the movement of cargo within the framework of trade and transit arrangements, providing additional access to sea for Nepal, calling it linking Sagarmatha, Mount Everest with Sagar, Indian Ocean. Development assistance. First, the Government of India provides development assistance to Nepal, focusing on the creation of infrastructure at the grassroots level. Second, the areas of assistance include infrastructure, health, water resources, and education and rural and community development. Defense cooperation. First, bilateral defense cooperation includes assistance to the Nepalese army in its modernization through the provision of equipment and training. Second, the Gorkha regiments of the Indian Army are raised particularly by recruitment from hill districts of Nepal. Third, India from 2011 every year undertakes a joint military exercise with Nepal known as Surya Kiran. Cultural. First, there have been initiatives to promote people-to-people contacts in the area of art and culture, academics and media with different local bodies of Nepal. Second, India has signed 3 sister city agreements for the twinning of Kathmandu-Varanasi, Lumbini-Bodh Gaya and Janakpur-Ayodhya. Humanitarian assistance. Nepal lies in the sensitive ecological fragile zone which is prone to earthquakes and floods causing massive damage to both life and money, whereby it remains the biggest recipient of India's humanitarian assistance. Indian community. A huge number of Indians live in Nepal. These include businessmen, traders, doctors, engineers, and laborers, including seasonal, migratory in the construction sector. Multilateral partnership. India and Nepal share multiple multilateral forums such as BBIN, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India and Nepal, BIMSTEC, Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, Non-Aligned Movement, and SAARC, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, etc. Challenges. First, territorial disputes. One of the main challenges in the Indo-Nepal ties is the Kala Pani boundary issue. These boundaries had been fixed in 1816 by the British, and India inherited the areas over which the British had exercised territorial control in 1947. While 98% of the India-Nepal boundary was demarcated, 2 areas, Susta and Kalapani, remained in limbo. In 2019, Nepal released a new political map claiming Kalapani, Limpiadhura and Lipu Lake of Uttarakhand and the area of Susta, which is West Champaran district of Bihar, as part of Nepal's territory. Second, issues with Peace and Friendship Treaty. The 1950 Treaty of Peace and Friendship was sought by the Nepali authorities in 1949 to continue the special links they had with British India and to provide them an open border and the right to work in India. But today, it is viewed as a sign of an unequal relationship and an Indian imposition. The idea of revising and updating it has found mention in joint statements since the mid-1990s, but in a sporadic and desultory manner. Third, the demonetization irritant. In November 2016, India withdrew Rs 15.44 trillion of high value Rs 1000 and Rs 500 currency notes. Today, over Rs 15.3 trillion has been returned in the form of fresh currency. Yet, many Nepali nationals who were legally entitled to hold Rs 25,000 of Indian currency, given that the Nepali rupee is pegged to Indian rupee, were left high and dry. The Nepal Rashtra Bank, Central Bank of Nepal holds rupees 7 crore and estimates of public holdings are rupees 500 crore. India's refusal to accept demonetized bills with the Nepal Rashtra Bank and the unknown fate of the report submitted by the Eminent Persons Group (EPG) has not helped in securing a better image in Nepal. China's intervention. In recent years, Nepal has drifted away from India's influence and China has gradually filled the space with investments, aid and loans. China considers Nepal a key partner in its Belt and Road Initiative (BRI) and wants to invest in Nepal's infrastructure as part of its grand plans to boost global trade. Rising Nepal and China cooperations can undermine Nepal's distinction of a buffer state between India and China. China, on the other hand, wants to avoid the formation of any anti-China stance by the Tibetans living in Nepal. Fifth, internal security. It is a major concern for India as the Indo-Nepal border is virtually open and lightly policed, which is exploited by terrorist outfits and insurgent groups from northeastern part of India. Examples: supply of trained cadres, fake Indian currency. Sixth, trust and ethnic differences. Over time, trust deficit has widened between India and Nepal because of the Indian reputation for delaying implementation of various projects. There is anti-India feeling among certain ethnic groups in Nepal which emanates from the perception that India indulges too much in Nepal and tinkers with their political sovereignty.